Tony Hawk. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, it will in, about 90 seconds.
That is a combination of games, T.
Yeah, very much so. So this was a game that I picked up in like a little indie bundle. Just not necessarily one of the ones that I was buying the bundle for, but it's those, hey, you buy more games and they cost less. And this just turned out to be an absolute blast to play, both as a score attack. It's a great Steam Deck game, and I found a way to turn it into a speedrun. So we'll go ahead into our Endless Road mode. And you can see there's lots of, very Outrun-esque cars. They're specifically calling out the Ferrari, the Trueno Sprinter.
T, I do want to say, apparently the audio cut in a little late. If you could at least give us the combination of games again that you would describe this game to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Short version. Outrun meets Burnout meets Tony Hawk. It's an arcade racer. It's very silly. We'll get into it as we go. Let me know if you all heard that. But yeah, long and short, game I got in like a bundle, turned out to be an absolute blast to play, figured out how to make a speed run out of it. Our goal here is just to get as far as we can in 15 minutes. Ideally, that will all be one contiguous run. We shall see. So we've got our various models of car here. They're all very Outrun inspired. Ferrari, Trueno Sprinter from Initial D, the Hornet from Daytona, and we're just going to go all the way down to number 13.
I was already laughing at the food truck, but oh my gosh!
This is not made in association with any real-life people you may be thinking of, so please get that thought out of your head. And then our customized livery. And Zoku, how about you pick the color out of the colors you can see on your screen?
So I am a big fan of teal. Would
that
look good with our FPE purple and green? Purple.
Which of these two are doing it for you? The kind of seafoam or the...
The seafoamish.
Okay, you got it. All right, so there's going to be, as soon as I hit go, there's going to be a 3, 2, 1. When the 1 finishes, that's when the timer starts. So if we are ready, it's time to buck up and drive.
Ready?
Oh, sorry. There wasn't a 3, 2, 1. It's just a ready drive. Close enough. Can you tell I haven't done this game that much recently? But yeah, in an ideal world, this would basically just be, we'd get up to a certain speed and we'd use the fact that we're drifting by using both gas and brake at the same time to slalom back and forth and maintain our speed. There are, however, lots of different things that complicate that. There are ramps, which are boosts that come in 3 flavors: blue for level 1, yellow for level 2, and red for level 3. Those boosts also do maintain vertical momentum. We're going to not do the level on the left because that's 420 jokes and that's not stream safe. Instead, we're going into the early access level, which is all sorts of jokes about making games.
For something
yeah,
the high road.
yeah. That's the one level that I wouldn't want to show off in any showcase of this game because it's not funny and it's not stream appropriate. But yeah, everything else about this game is an absolute blast. You can see why I said Tony Hawk now, as I'm bouncing over the sides of the level. If there are railings on the sides of the level, which there only are sometimes, and it's randomly generated, then hitting those railings will cause me to trick across them, essentially. You do lose momentum as you are tricking. It's slower than if you were just straight out of bounds, so it's actually not the worst way to get around. It's not ideal, but it's not that bad either. So yeah, essentially we are using our boost to kind of maintain our number of fasts per hour as high as possible. 200 is our like baseline if we're just holding down the accelerator, especially if we weren't using the drift. So everything above that is where we want to be. Ideally, we want to get to the speed where it's almost impossible to actually react to oncoming traffic and stay there, which is basically where we're at right now. But of course, that puts you at high risk of crashing into things. Crashing into things is bad if you are not using an active boost drift because it will stop your momentum dead, and it's bad if you do have a boost drift going because you will destroy the car or other obstacle that you drift into. And if you do that too often, your heat meter in the bottom left will build up, and out comes the cops. This game does not like the cops, and neither do we. Zoku, what are you thinking so far? How you feeling?
I am stunned, speechless.
Good.
You couldn't tell from like my lack of speaking.
I mean, I've been going Argic mode, as I often do when I'm solo commentating, so I can't say I've given you much of a chance, but...
As long as you don't fire me for saying hydrosity.
We'll see. The cops might get you before I do, though. So the cops do have some benefits while they're out, which is to say that they will actually act as a battering ram for anything that we would otherwise drive into. They'll destroy that for us, and we can't get more kind of heat on us while the cops are already out. So if you can swing it and stay out of a cop's way like that, it actually kind of makes your path a little easier. Alright, we're going to... This is one of our climb levels. These are built a little bit differently from the average level, and we are in 8-0. Unfortunately, I used that boost at just the wrong time. There is actually one other way to attack things. If you see that hurricane drift in the bottom left, or bottom right rather, that does count as an attack of sorts, but it doesn't keep your momentum up while you do it, so we try not to.
You've clearly been drifting throughout the entire showcase, so does this also follow the same tried and true rule of like any other kart racer where drifting is the fastest way to go?
Yeah, because if you're not drifting, you're not building up that that drift meter, the little like sound effect, the splash you keep hearing. Each time you hear it after I started a drift, that's a different level of boost. So we want as much of our boost to be at least level 2 as possible, because your momentum does very slowly bleed out depending on what you're doing. It actually bleeds out slightly slower in the air, I think. So the ramps are great. Of course, the ground boost strips are also ideal. This has been a couple of crashes aside, which is not unexpected considering I haven't driven the Van Diesel in a while.
Is the Van Diesel normally difficult to drive? And chat, I just want to remind you all, you donated $400 to make this happen, to give T this
Yes.
extra level of challenge.
Thank you so much. It's not that the handling model is any different, and I genuinely don't know if the hitbox is larger, but the amount of screen real estate the vehicle itself takes up, which is like, the space right around the car is really as far down the field as I can focus visually, so the fact that I have less space than that to kind of clock where things are coming from is what makes it difficult to drive the Van Diesel. We are in hell, driving against the Geep. Rival levels aren't really that difficult. They will usually crash sometime early on, and then it's just about getting around them and not crashing yourself, because as with all kart racers, there is wicked rubber banding, and if you crash, the odds are your rival will get out in front of you. That in itself is not a problem per se. You continue racing even if you don't beat your rival, but that just puts one more obstacle in your way, so it's obviously better in a speedrun context to not get behind them. I do also want to note that all of the cars we crash into, including but not limited to the police, are filled with robots, so nobody is being harmed during the making of this game. One of many things I respect the dev for. Another one being that if you have seen some of the billboards on the side of the road, you may notice that some have been filled in with pride flags and other similar things. Originally, one out of every X number of billboards was filled with a pride flag, the rainbow-colored one, and people in the Steam discussions message board started complaining about that, as the prototypical gamer is wont to do. So they asked for a toggle for the pride flags, and the developer didn't really respond per se, but did release an update, and the update said that there was a toggle for the pride flags, and what that toggle did was make all billboards in the game pride flags. So another reason.
I did in fact notice the bi pride flag earlier.
Yeah. So
and
that's
chat's been calling it out too.
Excellent. That's actually another level of editing that I did to this game on top of that. This game runs on GameMaker, the same engine as Undertale. So we were able to use the Undertale mod tool to open up the files of the game and add additional pride flags above and beyond the standard one. So that's why you've seen bi, lesbian, non-binary, all that good stuff.
Chat also noted that the stream did hitch for a moment where Van Diesel was facing the camera.
Perfect.
So I have to ask what your opinion on Van Diesel is.
If you ask TGH, who was doing my tech check, I jump scared him by having I didn't get to show you because I didn't want to fall too far behind on our schedule. But if you are picking a car, you can do like a model viewer and you can rotate the car around. So I started our tech check with the car facing him and like looking downwards at the camera. And I think it scared the ever-loving bejeebus out of him.
Oh my goodness.
It also acts like the Mona Lisa, which is to say that no matter where the camera is, the eyes of the Van Diesel will try to find the camera.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Chat, you donated for this. This.
Oh, this is our second cop, which means it has an additional power. That attack is the one I like to see the least. Unfortunately, it's the most common for Phase 2. They're able to drop out a random number of tickets between 1 and I think 4 or 5. If you get hit by the ticket, you get slowed down to less than the 200 fast per hour speed limit immediately. This is Pipes and Shrooms, one of our 2 video game tribute levels. You can probably guess that it's for Red Luigi and his cadre of friends.
I am enjoying the billboards on this now that you've pointed them out.
Excellent. Yeah, there are some for, like, some of the default ones are of old memes, like if you remember Big Bill Hell's Cars, the one that's basically like a scratch take of an old Baltimore auto dealer commercial.
Why did you unlock that from the chat? I need you to help erase this from my memory now. Please send in a donation, because again, we're here raising money for Gate. We've raised over $1,000 so far, thanks to you all. But we're still trying to keep that going, because any money towards this cause is great. Please send me your favorite meme that you would love to see in the billboard in this game.
I like it. A meme-worthy billboard, something that works as well in freeze frame form as in video, because really I feel like meme quality content is so much more common as videos and TikToks and stuff these days. So
I also love like brand name spoofs, so like Chill, Scorn Place is like what I'm seeing here. Like this is fantastic. How have I not watched you run this before?
And there is a sequel on the way. I don't know exactly when the ETA is, but yeah, that was our other tribute level. So
Chad is enjoying Green Hill Zone and Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic 3.
Yeah, sorry, Green Hilltop Zone. Legally distinct. How are we doing on time, Zokubun?
Well, my timer on the stream feed says you're a little under 10 minutes, so you've got 5 minutes more of Endless to go.
Very good.
I've got a question for you about this. How many levels have you gotten through in Endless before? Because I see like every time you get the choice of direction, it's like a different choice of level. Have you been able to see like all of them in one run before? Presumably not with Van Diesel.
I think so. I couldn't say for sure. You know, there are actually settings for that technically, which is to say you can make it so that some levels only show up after a certain number of levels, which is the way the original progression in unlocking things works. Hold on, I'm gonna get quiet for a minute and see if I can. I feel like I'm a little behind. Okay. So yeah, there is technically a progression. Some of the wilder levels are only supposed to show up after like levels 5, 6, 7. But it does just go forever. Oop, game just slowed down on my end. That was not the stream, that was actually my computer, so bear with me. Oh yeah, this is also the third cop here has a vertical drop move. You see the car go up into the air and it can land on you. Thankfully I did not get hit by that. Between that and the increased traffic density, it's getting kind of hairy out here. You can see I'm getting to the point where some of my if I'm not using long enough drifts, I can basically just end up right in front of another car when my drift wears off, which is...
Game, this is not how you stall for more money for charity, just saying.
Yeah, I'm afraid the game doesn't know that's what we're up to. Oh boy, another cop.
If you get hit by those tickets, I assume those are tickets at the top of dropping. What happens?
It slows you down to...
job of avoiding.
It slows you down to the speed limit
of
200 fast immediately. Okay, we already did the Land Before Time, or rather, time came after this one. So let's go to the Abs of God, the workout level.
That is a fantastic.
Oh yeah, did I not mention the background and the muscle milk? Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh,
Oh god, it threw the spiky ball. Yeah, you can technically play volleyball with the spiky ball and hit the cop with it, but it takes extremely good timing because it comes back and forth at you fast enough that you probably won't be ready for it. Oh, I thought it got both of those for me.
You are absolutely doing your best. Like, I'm just staring at all these things flying at you at this speed and thinking I would crash into every single one of these things.
Oh, dang.
So this is amazing.
The game gave me a timer, which is basically a pity mechanic saying, hey, we don't think you're going to get to the end in time. Unfortunately, with the 60-second timer, unless you're... Oh, there was the other one. You usually get either 1 or 2 chances at it. Nope. I think that's going to do it. Alright, well, we've got a few more minutes, so I'll definitely just spin up another run, because why not? I also love that the go to main menu changes to go home and be a family van if you're driving the Van Diesel. Because of course it does.
Oh, that is a horrifying frontal view.
Well, yeah, to actually answer your question from earlier, I'm pretty sure I've gotten into the 20s. I'd have to check my Steam achievements, because there are achievements for going that high. And really, at that point, what they're expecting of you isn't to try to go as fast as possible. It's rather the slow and steady approach, using that hurricane drift, using other techniques, etc., etc. But my personal white whale as far as a marathon running of this is to get into the special mode called Road Rage, which is, we're not like 100.0% sure how to trigger it. The most common way is to go through at least several levels at a high rate of speed without crashing. So you can see why it wouldn't happen very often, especially in the Van Diesel.
Well, speaking of the Van Diesel, Chad has been feeling a lot of emotions about this, and we've gotten a donation here about that same emotion.
Oh yeah?
Uh-huh. OG Happy Dude has sent in $10 and saying, hello everyone, Happy Dude here. As I was loading into the stream, I had an emotion that I hadn't had in quite some time. Fear was that emotion, as the stream froze on the freight Van Diesel's face. Congrats to the FBE crew for raising $1,000 for the Thank you so much, Happy Dude, for that donation.
Appreciate you, friend. Both your generosity and your terror. It's exactly what we were hoping for at this particular moment in time.
I do also want to point out that that donation went towards making Egg even more the ball shape that you all will be using in Golf with Your Friends, which is coming up right after this run. Egg is runaway in the lead, but again, that incentive will be open throughout the entirety of the run. Shoutouts to like, sorry about that. But that incentive will be open through the entirety of the next run, so you can change the ball shape at any time just by tipping one of those choices over into the lead. So Egg is at $91, but Hockey Puck and Acorn are at $25 each. Your other options are Cube, Icosphere, Christmas Bubble, and the default ball. TD, do you have a preference?
The ones that are actually fun to play with in terms of being able to do well, obviously, are the original ball and the hockey puck, because the hockey puck isn't really ever going to likely sit on its side. It does happen, to be fair, and it's funny because it's relatively uncommon. The Icosphere is also funny because it's one that's close enough to the normal ball that you can get mistaken, as is the Egg. So either of those can be in a thing where you could be at a point where you're like, oh yeah, no, I know how to hit this, and then you realize it's not the ball type you expected it was. Because the main way that happens in Golf with Your Friends is if you turn on power-ups, you can change somebody's ball, like whoever is the active player, you can just change their ball for their next shot. Actually, I think you change everybody except yourself for their next shot. So that's usually how random ball shapes happen, and it's like an intentionally malicious thing you do. But for the sake of what we're putting on for you, just to see, you know, fun, chaos, and our thinly veiled frustration in equal measure. Yeah.
I mean, it certainly sounds like chaos, and I thought it was going towards Egg because Eggman, Sonic fans here, and of course now Van Diesel's head.
Fair, yeah.
It is good to know that Egg causes chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Egg is just close enough to a regular ball that you might think you can hit it the same way, and by and large you can't. So, all right, as we're finishing up here, or so I imagine, we're going to go under the sea. Yeah, I've once heard it said that gamers in particular are some of actually the most political people out there. They just like games with politics that match their own. And I don't know if that's true in a vacuum, but with this game in particular, I would love to meet this dev someday and shake their hand, because this game doesn't like the police, this game doesn't like capitalism, you know.
This game has a sense of humor, and I enjoy it.
Exactly. I'm into what this game does and how it plays, so it's a fun overall package. Buck Up and Drive 2 may be out sometime next year. Totally go give it a look on Steam if you are interested.
And what gave you the idea to prepare this for marathon submissions? Because this is the first time you've got to show this off.
It's not. And really this game is actually run more as a score attack game, or at least it was up until the point where I got my hands on it. There were like 3 other runners at the time, and they were all running how much score can you get within X number of levels, which involves a lot more finding the ramps and then really aggressively tricking off of them, which is actually much more difficult on a controller, which is how I chose to play it, because I was originally playing it on Steam Deck. The score runs are all done with mouse and keyboard, because the game just reacts differently to you using keyboard. Like, each different button is basically like flips the car all the way over again. So
doing those Tony Hawk tricks.
Yeah, exactly. You can see the points come off as you do them. So with the controller, it became a lot easier to do this slaloming motion, you know, to lean just a little bit and to figure out the right amount of wiggle to increase the drift you get. And so I just kind of turned it into how fast can I get through 5 levels, 10 levels, 15 levels, and it took off from there.
And speaking of how fast you can get through, I do want to let you know that we are nearing 20 minutes of the showcase at this time.
Oh goodness,
So.
No one stopped me yet.
We've just been having fun watching this. If you'd like to start wrapping things up, where can we find more of you? Presumably not of this game, too.
Oh, I'm
Unless
always
you'd
happy
like
to.
But
Yeah, I mean, I won't say I'm like an Oscar 424 or a schmumbler or somebody who like plays bad games for a living. I'm not the Kuso crew, but yeah, honestly, the place you're most likely to find me, as I always tell people, is by volunteering for a charity marathon. There's a much better chance
you're watching right now.
Yeah, there's a much better chance you find me behind the scenes, like in my capacity as co-hosting lead and lead for pre-development broadcast tools, which is to say tech checks for fast-paced events, or hosting lead for Preventathon, or at a GDQ, because I'm usually doing as many things as they'll let me over there. But I do also have a channel at twitch.tv/ateatree. I bought one of these fun little lights, which is why I don't look like I'm sitting in the dark, only illuminated by my computer monitors. So maybe I will use that as encouragement to stream more often. So, you know, feel free to drop a follow. I can't promise anything, but I do enjoy doing this every time I get around to doing it. So maybe it'll happen more often.
And hey, if you follow ateatree, you get to find fun games like Buck Up and Drive.
Yeah, no, it's true. I will play things that people put in front of me, or I'll just go find them myself. It's been more the latter up to this point, but, you know, Amber Cypher introduced me to cool games like Ricky and Vicky, which is a game that we have the co-op world record in together. The Fast-Paced Events crew is how I found out about Played Up. I think how I rediscovered Golf with Your Friends coming up next. So we're going to go ahead and get things set up for that, because I think you're going to be getting my feed of that game again. So give us just a few minutes and we will be back with more fun.
Absolutely. Friends, take your quick stretch breaks, get your hydrates. We've got more chaos coming your way.